January in which he had accused me of leaking a letter, and I denied it, and he said it came from the central bank, and again I had rejected that, and he had effectively said if I couldn't find who leaked from the central bank and fired, I should resign, and I had said no, I wouldn't resign. I think if you have that kind of meeting with the president, and you know the president wants you out, in the back of your mind, you know he can do it. I mean, he's the president of Nigeria. He can remove you anytime, legally or illegally. So nobody should be under any kind of illusion of thinking that the president can remove anyone. If the president wants to take out a businessman from his company, he can take him out from his company. He's the president. He's got the control of the state. So. To that extent, you know, it was clear to me that if he wanted to remove me, he would remove me. That wasn't an issue. It was just that I was not going to resign myself, which is why when he said suspended, I said, well, that's fine. You know, I was given a job. I was called to do it. If I'm removed from the job, I'm removed from the job. I don't think it was important to the extent that all the things I felt were critical had been done. We had fixed the banks. The banks are not at risk. We've brought down inflation, we've stabilized the exchange rate, we've got stable reserve buffers. In a sense, I have reached a point now where I am dispensable and the economy will not suffer.
Sir, did many analysts see you as the first activist CBN governor, donating money here and there, and that is one of the problems that Jonathan said he has against you? All those donations, what's your reaction to it?
Well, I think what are called donations, and certainly when you look at the kinds of things central bank has done, we've done a number of things even at the request of the government, and we'll come out with them, I'm sure, at the appropriate time. I don't think this is the time to start disclosing things. For example, we have done at the request of government itself. Now, what are these donations? We have made donations, for example, to flood victims. When you had national flood disaster, and we got the banking industry to make these contributions. We have donated to bomb blast victims. We have given corporate social responsibility contributions to some NGOs that are doing valuable work, and those are what you call donations. We have made investments in the educational sector, which is arguably an area that does need investment. Universities, secondary schools. So I don't know what the...
many critics were saying those things were not part of what the CBN should be doing.
Well, how do they define that? The board of the central bank approves our budget. The board of the central bank approves our expenditure. And so how could... And this is not money that we took from the Federation account or from the CRF. This is money that's earned by the central bank. And remember, these are balance sheet interventions. They're not P&L. Some of them are P&L interventions, but most of them are balance sheet interventions. So what is really, where do they get that? It's not what the central bank should do. If you go to any number of central banks and go to their website, you will see the interventions that they do. It's not, Nigeria is not the only country that does it.
Yeah, there is also this claim by the president, especially Okupe, who said that your removal was one of those things done to fight against corruption.
Well, that's fine. So if there is proof of corruption against me, I should be removed. But I'm not sure that I was given any opportunity to respond to any allegation of corruption. I've looked at what has been published as allegations. Have you seen anything that said I did anything?
That report by the, what's the name of that?
Financial Reporting Council.
Yes. They itemize certain things against you, sir.
Against me personally?
Yes.
Like
I mean, that, the CBN did under you, especially the airways that was mentioned.
The what?
Yeah. The airways, Emirates Airways.
But this is, again, I don't want to keep replying to allegations that were put on the internet. There is a private charter airline called Emirates Touch, which does charter for currency. And they just assumed this is Emirates Airlines. It's just ridiculous. And there are many things like that. Many of these things were things that a simple phone call would have clarified. Who is this Emirates Airways? They would have seen who they are.
Even Wings Airline was also mentioned. Wings Airline, that it's not a big company. It's turnover per year is not even up to what was
Yeah,
quoted.
but how do you decide turnover is? I mean, look, if we have an airline that does charter, and again, I don't know the details. Again, I don't want to keep answering specific allegations because I don't know whether these are going to be court matters. But if you have a charter and they carry currency and they come with an invoice and you pay them and you can show that, that is all that we expect it to do. Now, whether they put that in their accounts, that's a different matter altogether.
Yes, concerning the recent issue about the NNPC figures, which you said that have problems, people begin to wonder why it's difficult for both agencies, being the ones in control of the country's wealth, to have a seamless interagency reconciliation.
Have you ever seen an
Why it's so difficult?
Have you ever seen? I mean, look. First of all, do you agree that the central bank was not the first institution to raise this issue? That NATI has come out publicly to say NNPC did not remit over 3 trillion. That Transparency International has come out to say NNPC is the least transparent institution in the world. That there has been the KPMG report. There's been the Ribadu report. I mean, people talk as if I was the first to make this point. I wasn't. You know, and it's almost as if, if only he had gone to them, it had been resolved. Okay, so what happened with the Ribadu report? What happened with the KPMG report? And the issue for me was very simple. NNPC had shipped crude in its name, and it had made some payments in its name, and that was a huge difference. Let us reconcile. And when the reconciliation was done, we agreed that you've shipped $67 billion worth of crude, you brought back $47 billion. There is $20 billion that needs to be explained. Now, the whole explanations that are coming out show that there's a struggle. First of all, some of it, a big chunk of it, of the domestic crude went to kerosene subsidy. And we have seen that this is a product that's not subsidized, and kerosene subsidy was not appropriated for, and therefore it proves my point that this was money that should have come to Federation account that was taken illegally and unconstitutionally. There were claims of subsidy on PMS. We're still trying to audit, or the National Assembly is still trying to audit and confirm that the amount of PMS that they said they brought in. So we don't know how much of that is valid. There was $6 billion, so that's for 12. There was $6 billion which NNPC said they imported on behalf of they exported on behalf of NPDC, and the money was from NPDC. You were all there on Thursday at the National Assembly. The MD of NPDC said, I did not receive this $6 billion. So if you, I mean, look, you're Nigerian. If the MD of NNPC keeps telling you, $6 billion with the NPDC, yes, we shipped it, but it's for NPDC and it's NPDC's account, and the MD of NPDC comes and says, we never received this money, what would you do? What would you assume? Somebody's lying. And then the MD was asked, MD, are you satisfied that the MD of NPDC says he has not received his account? Now, if the GMD of NNPC was always in the, he would say, no, he's wrong, the money is there. What did he say? He said, well, we'll go back. You can look at the video. We'll go back, we'll streamline our relationship, our systems, look at our legal issues, and improve our relationship with the agencies, our subsidiaries, and so on. There was no answer. So, for me, let's forget the distraction. That's why I'm even ready to accept when people say, it's politically motivated, or I'm only reacting because I was queried. Fine. Does it change the fact that $20 billion is missing? Because I'm not going to place myself in a defensive position where I'm going to be the person just explaining what is the issues. I raised questions, and these questions should be answered.
So, is it true that you apologized at the point because you quoted a different figure in the beginning?
I never did. I never apologized to anyone. I never did. What I said was that I regretted that letter had found its way into the press, because that was not the intent. I also regretted some misunderstanding. I said that was probably a statement. It was unfortunate because that letter was supposed to be the beginning of an investigation and not the end. I never said $50 billion was missing. I said from the initial reports I had, there was a difference of 50 billion between what NPC shipped and what repatriated. And we should have an investigation. And I thought we should have waited until the conclusion of the investigation before we would say that.
So your critics think you decided to blow open the NNPC issue because of your link with the opposition party, APC. How would you defend
I
this?
have no link to the opposition party. I have close friends in all parties. The president's principal secretary, Hassan Chukwu, is a very close personal friend. The chairman of the PDP, Ahmed Maazu, is a very close personal friend. The governor of Bauchi, Issa Yehuda, is a very close friend. But also, Bukola Saraki is a close friend. And Bukola Saraki was my friend from King's College. And when did he become opposition? A few weeks ago. Am I now supposed to leave him because he has moved to opposition? Nasir El-Rufai was my friend from university. I've read the story that I'm supposed to marry Nasir El-Rufai's sister. Okay? The youngest sister he has is 57 years old. Okay? So I don't know which sister I'm supposed to marry. I have friends. Some of them are politicians, some are not. Okay? Wale Edun is in APC. He's been my friend since the 1980s. He was a guardian to my son. Am I going to leave him because he's in the wrong political party? Or how do I know the right or wrong political party? I'm not in any political party. I don't have a membership card of any political party. I do not attend any party meetings or party caucus, but I have friends all over.